Stay on course, do your work, protect the South Africans as you are called upon in terms of the Constitution, and focus on doing your work, while matters that have come to light will be attended to. Now, turning to firearm distractions, we will be today destroying 12,499 firearms and parts of the firearms, weapons that once fueled terror to our society. This act is not just symbolic, it's a strategic blow against the crime that threaten the safety of our people. Earlier this year in February, we destroyed 16,049 firearms, including today's operation. The total number of firearms and parts obliterated by SAPS over the past 5 years stand at 291,993. These are firearms taken out from the streets and destroyed, and they will never go back to the street. Each one represents a potential life saved, a family spared from grief, and a community fortified against chaos. With the firearms that we are destroying today, just to indicate where they come from, Gauteng brought in the majority of the firearms with 5,099, followed by the Western Cape with 2,333, KwaZulu-Natal with 1,574. 1,332 firearms were from the Eastern Cape and 460 from the Free State. Limpopo brought in 343 and Mpumalanga contributed 519 each of these firearms, while Northwest contributed 417, Northern Cape 322. From April 2019 to date, a total of 292,092 firearms have been destroyed through the firearm destruction operations. As you are aware, firearm remains the most preferred weapon in terms of serious and violent crimes, especially murder and attempted murder, countrywide, but more so the provinces which contribute majority of the crime in South Africa, which is Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. Through Operation Chanela, we are seizing not less than 100 firearms per week, and in the last 7 days, 106 firearms were seized. In the previous week, of which 115 firearms were seized, and with a week before, it was 102 firearms that were seized. Of course, these firearms, yes, some of them come from stolen and robbed from law enforcement agencies, but some of them come from the firearm owners in the country, where they get stolen and or robbed from citizens. We remain resolute and focused on our targeted operations to completely remove these firearms from the hands of communities, especially young people. Our high-density Operation Chanela, continued to yield desired results. We are forever grateful that within our ranks we have dedicated members that are equal to the task. You must have seen the past week where we had takedowns of a CN route to Gauteng, those that ran away from that specific operation. They were arrested along the way, taken down while coming back to Gauteng. As we know that alcohol is the biggest contributor when it comes to main causes of conduct crimes such as serious and violent crime, including assault, sexual offenses, and murders. From the beginning of the new financial year, starting 1st April 2025 to date, 4,669 unlicensed legal premises has been shut down in the country, with firearms being the biggest contributor for murders in the country. It is encouraging to know that 1,586 illegal firearms has been removed off from our street in the past 3 months. A total of 210,532 suspects were arrested for various crimes ranging from murder, rape, assault GBH, illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. The following arrests were also made since April to date: 30,000 suspects found in possession of drugs, 11,217 arrested for driving under the influence of liquor, 3,290 for dealing in drugs, illegal dealing in liquor, murder 2,225, attempted murder 1,819, and 2,611 were arrested for rape. In terms of seizures, 626 explosives used mostly in cash in transit heist and ATM bombings and illegal mining have been seized. And a total of 907 hijacked and or stolen vehicles have been recovered in the country and also at our borders. With regard to GBV and F, as part of the ongoing government-led campaign against gender-based violence and femicide, between April and May, 416 GBV perpetrators were sentenced to time in prison. 57 of them were handed down life sentences. 43 were handed down 20 years and above. While 193 were handed down 1 to 9 years imprisonment. But I must, however, indicate that these sentences are not for crimes committed between April and May and June this year. It varies, it comes quite a long way, but these cases were finalized during this specific period. And turning to crime intelligence, crime intelligence remains a cornerstone of South African police service in terms of providing proactive and reactive intelligence to prevent crime, especially organized crime, including resource allocation to safeguard national security. Its effectiveness directly impacts the SAP's ability to combat escalating crime threats. Following the arrest of the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence, Lieutenant General Khumalo, and 6 others on Thursday, 26th of June to date, the Human Resource Division of the SAPS has processed the matter in line with the SAPS disciplinary regulations of 2016. All 7 these senior officers has been temporarily transferred out of the Division Crime Intelligence, pending more information which we have requested from IDEC that will indicate to us as to what further course of action we can do. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me take the opportunity to announce that the Acting Divisional Commissioner for Crime Intelligence for now will be Major General Solomon Makatu. Major General Makatu is the current head of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, also known as the Hawks, in the Western Cape. He brings to this position a wealth of experience and knowledge in the intelligence and detective space, with 36 years service in both environments in SAPS. He holds a BTech degree in policing as well as National Diploma in Police Administration. We have full confidence in Major General Makatu, and we trust that his leadership will enhance efficiency and maintain stability within crime intelligence. On conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we remain resolute and will give Major General Makatu the support, together with senior managers that are in that environment. For us as management, this is a pivotal moment. We will be judged, of course, by resolve and to adhere to the law and our unwavering commitment to service. We have full confidence in members of SAPS to serve with honor on a daily basis. We draw strength from their daily commitment and exemplary service to communities. This is the time to not to divide, but to stand together and fight crime together. I thank you.
General, online we have received a few questions from members of the media. The first one is from Newsroom Africa. Can the Commissioner give us clarity on the nature of the investigation that the KZN Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, says was started into the Police Minister? What is the scope of this investigation?
Well, look, one does not venture into criminal investigations. The provincial commissioner did indicate what he's investigating, but one cannot venture into a criminal investigation, and the province have got the authority to investigate criminal cases.
Okay, and then the next question, General. It comes from Siavuya. Quick one, the dockets Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi referred to that were allegedly taken away to SAPS headquarters. What is the National Commissioner's understanding of that alleged decision?
Well, I think you have seen in the media, it is a to and fro. We rather leave that space to allow that we, as the President said, he will intervene, let him intervene, and those will be matters that are subject to investigation. It will not assist the nation that General Mkhwanazi say something, General Sivia say something, and I say something. And so I think the space has been met enough. Let's leave that for investigation.
And then the other question, General, what is the status of the political killings task team? Did the National Commissioner authorize the closure of the unit?
Well, I'm sure you have not seen any letter that I've signed to close the unit. I have not signed it, and I don't think anybody have ever seen a letter where I've signed off the closure of the unit.
Another question from News 24. Can the Commissioner please advise if he was aware of the allegations Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi came forward with on Sunday prior to the press briefing?
Look, provincial commissioners have got the prerogative to brief media. Yes, he did indicate that he's going to brief media on the work of political task team, which for quite a long time we haven't done a briefing. So one does not really have a problem in him briefing the media on the work of the team, which even if the team was project manager was Lieutenant General Khumalo, who was leading the team, it is not a problem if he talk about it, because it is operating within the province of KwaZulu-Natal, which is his terrain.
Okay, General. Questions from Dr. Ngozi from PowerFM. I think this is just repetition. Did you act on the instruction from Minister of Police to disband the political killings unit? I think you have responded to that. General Mkhwanazi claimed that over 150 dockets, 5 of which had arrests issued, were taken and sit in General Sibiya's office. Can you confirm?
I wouldn't want to dwell much on that, as I said. That's what he's saying, and let that.
And in general, another one from the Network 24, has the safety of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi been beat?
Yes, it has. We have beefed up. Lieutenant General Khumalo, there's been that.
Okay. And in general, Thomas Chaba. Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has been criticized by some for breaking rank by holding the briefing in which he made damning allegations. Has the Commissioner engaged him since Sunday? Have you met with him? How will the matter be taken forward? Any action against or in support of the
General? So the National Commissioner cannot now start taking action which will either be correct or wrong, be so against whoever. So let's wait first, engage with the President, and from there we'll take matters forward. But of course, I'm sure you have seen Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi said what he had was facts. So let's leave it like that.
Okay. And then lastly, General, will the KZN Commissioner be protected and not be prosecuted for his explosive investigation?
Well, in terms of physical protection, you know that, as I said, he's been getting threats to his life in that province. We have beefed up his security, but he won't be persecuted. From my side, surely there will be no persecution of any member of South African Police Service, not only him, but anyone.
And then what was the justification for the closure of the political killings task team?
Look, as I said, I don't want to dwell more in that regard. I don't know. I don't know the reasons, but I'm sure you heard Mkhwanazi said after Ket Matlala was arrested, it became clear as to what the reasons were. So I don't want to get deeper into that.
Okay. And General, on today's firearms destruction from Colin Gambi, the firearms allegedly used to commit political killings and other high-profile crimes, will they be part of the destruction?
No. They won't be. Remember, there are still cases pending. So those firearms are still going to be preserved as evidence. So the society shouldn't think that I'm here to destroy those firearms. The cases are still pending, and those firearms has been linked to more than cases in any way, of quite a number of even artists killed in this country. So they are not about to be destroyed. They will be kept until those cases are finalized.
All right, General. And then lastly, to your knowledge, are there any members of the executive, including the police minister, who are being investigated for political interference in the work of the task team?
I'm not interested in answering that one.
Okay, I think that's all from the journalist, General, and I think that calls the end to our media briefing.
Thank you.
All right, so we've just heard from National Police Commissioner Firearm Masomol speaking about, well, it was meant to be about police's work to destroy illegal firearms, but naturally, all but one of the questions were around KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's bombshell briefing at the weekend. So bear with me as I try to take you through some of what we were able to glean from that briefing, which, might I add, was uncharacteristically held virtually this time around. Typically, there's an alert that's given out to media houses, including the SABC. Journalists are actually present in the room to ask questions. This time, we were alerted of this briefing and were told that, we'd have to connect virtually to it and pose questions online. I suppose you'll make of that what you will. But the commissioner has really not wanted to go into the details of what Mkhwanazi has said. He says there's been a toing and froing. Let's allow the president to intervene. He says, and I think this is a very important piece of information, I have not signed off on the closure of the political killings task team. In fact, later on in the briefing, he says, I don't know what the reasons are for the closure of that task team. Now, you want to juxtapose that to what Mkhwanazi said at the weekend, who suggested that that task team was closed once they started making inroads in trying to essentially clamp down on criminality involving politically connected individuals, including, Mkhwanazi says, the likes of Vusimuzi, Ket, Matlala, who we now know had a cell phone behind bars. The police commissioner there, National Police Commissioner, also saying that he hasn't, he was asked a question about whether or not he's met with Mkhwanazi since that bombshell briefing at the weekend. And he simply didn't answer that question, by the way. Instead, he said, once again, we should allow the process to unfold, investigations to happen. He's confirmed that Mkhwanazi has been receiving threats to his life, repeating assertions that his security had been beefed up. The National Police Commissioner also saying he will not prosecute Mkhwanazi. In fact, he says, I won't prosecute anybody in the SAPS, suggesting that this is all going to be the work of investigators, ultimately, who'll bring an end to what we've been seeing happening. What I want to emphasize once again is that the National Police Commissioner has now confirmed that he did not sign off on the closing of the political killings task team, which Mkhwanazi spent some time reflecting upon at his briefing at the weekend. It's an extraordinary admission, from where I'm sitting at least, that the National Commissioner of the country not only doesn't know why this task team was closed, but didn't sign off on it, at least according to his own admission, when it was closed itself. Other important information briefly, we know that Dumisani Khumalo, the head of crime intelligence, was arrested a couple of weeks ago alongside several other officials. The National Commissioner now announcing that the SAPS has officially removed him from that division, and Solomon Makgato will act as the head of crime intelligence in the country. Mr. Makgato is the current Hawks head in the Western Cape, and apparently will come with a wealth of experience in this incredibly crucial role. In fact, at the beginning of the briefing, Mr. Fani Masomol saying that crime intelligence is the cornerstone of the work done by the SAPS. And I think, you don't need a degree in policing to absolutely agree with that. It's really at the heart of the work done by police. And that's why I suppose in many ways that bombshell briefing has sent such a shockwave throughout the country. Some time has passed since that briefing. We are yet to get a sense of what President Cyril Ramaphosa will do in response to what was being said. But of course, there are mounting calls for the presidency to do something, given, of course, what is currently at stake.